Something strange is happening inside the halls of Marvel Studios. And for the first time in over a decade, the fans aren't just asking questions, they're demanding answers, because the announcement that was supposed to save the MCU might just be the one tearing it apart from the inside. Avengers, Doomsday. That title alone sent shockwaves through the fandom. A promise of epic scale, of returning legends, of stakes higher than anything we've seen since Endgame. And yet, the moment the official cast lineup dropped, something shifted, and not in the way Kevin Feige expected. Because this wasn't triumph, it was backlash, and it came fast, it came loud, and it came with receipts. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, even hints of Scarlett Johansson returning. On paper, it's fan service at its finest, a dream lineup, the gods returning to the battlefield. But scroll through Reddit, dive into Twitter threads, and what you'll see isn't celebration, it's frustration, exhaustion, fans saying enough is enough, we've been down this road. We've seen this playbook and now, they're not buying in. And the blame? It's pointing directly at Kevin Feige. For years, Feige was untouchable, the architect of the Infinity Saga, the man who made it all work, who juggled timelines and heroes and cameos like it was second nature. But now, that same magic feels like a trick we've already seen too many times, and audiences are starting to notice. The post-Endgame era was supposed to be fresh, bold, experimental. And for a while, it tried. We saw Moon Knight, WandaVision, Loki bending time, reality, expectation. But with every announcement since, the vision has blurred, and what we're left with feels less like a grand design and more like corporate panic. Avengers, Doomsday should have been the moment that unified the fan base again. Instead, it's divided it deeper. And that's because this cast, it doesn't just include legends, it includes everyone. Dozens of characters, conflicting tones, too many plot threads to track. It's starting to feel more like a product launch than a story, more like damage control than destiny. Fans wanted a reset. What they're getting is a remix. And that frustration? It's not just noise, it's data. YouTube reaction videos with thumbnails reading, "What is Feige thinking?" Podcasts ripping into the bloated cast, even longtime Marvel stands saying the spark just isn't there anymore. The illusion of control, the image of Feige as the mastermind. It's cracking, and what's behind it isn't just one bad movie. It's years of trying to keep momentum going while the story, the heart, started to fade. So now Marvel stands at a crossroads. The cast is locked in, the hype machine is running, but the trust? That's the one thing they haven't secured. And in this new phase of storytelling, trust is everything. The storm isn't slowing down. In fact, it's growing louder by the day, because for the first time in the franchise's history, fans aren't just questioning the movies, they're questioning the man behind the curtain, and that man is Kevin Feige. He's been the face of the Marvel empire for over 15 years, the trusted name stamped on every film, every crossover, every promise of something bigger, better, more connected, and for the longest time, fans believed in that vision. They followed him through origin stories, Infinity Stones, multiverse madness, but now, in the shadow of Avengers, Doomsday, that trust is starting to fracture. Because it's not just that the cast list feels bloated, it's the feeling that Marvel doesn't know what it wants to be anymore. And that uncertainty, it's bleeding into everything. Characters introduced just 1 or 2 phases ago, like the Eternals, Shang-Chi, even Moon Knight, have all but vanished from the spotlight. And now we're right back to the old guard, back to Iron Man, back to Captain America, back to nostalgia as a lifeline instead of a legacy. And people are asking, why? Why spend years setting up new heroes, new storylines, if the answer was always going to be to drag the old legends back into the ring? It started to feel less like storytelling and more like scrambling, like Marvel is spinning in circles trying to capture the same lightning it once bottled so perfectly. And fans? They feel it. They feel the fatigue, the repetition, the safe choices dressed up as bold moves, and what once felt like a meticulously crafted cinematic universe now feels more like a content treadmill, endless, exhausting, and increasingly empty. Even some of the cast members are speaking up. Insiders have started whispering that certain actors aren't thrilled about the direction, that there's concern behind the scenes about creative burnout, that some newer heroes feel like background noise in their own franchise. And as the spotlight shifts back to Feige, that pressure is multiplying. Because it's not just fans online, it's investors watching Disney stock. It's analysts tracking declining box office trends. It's critics asking hard questions about whether Marvel's brand of storytelling still has cultural momentum or if the golden age is behind them. So what does Feige do? Does he double down and hope nostalgia keeps the engine running just a little longer? Or does he take the risk he once championed, stepping back, simplifying, focusing again on character instead of cameos? That's the tension. That's the war happening beneath the surface. And Avengers, Doomsday? That's the battleground. Because if this movie fails to land, if it becomes another Quantumania, another Secret Invasion, another Almost, then the damage won't just be a bad review, it'll be a fundamental collapse of Marvel's ability to deliver on its biggest promise. To be the one franchise fans can trust to keep delivering stories that matter. And if they lose that, they don't just lose money, they lose the culture. And that's the one thing Marvel never thought it would have to fight to keep. This is it, the final stretch, the movie that could either reignite a dynasty or become the final warning shot that the golden age is over. Avengers, Doomsday isn't just another Marvel movie. It's a litmus test, a cultural check-in, a make-or-break moment that's forcing everyone, from executives to superfans, to ask the question no one ever thought they'd ask. Can Marvel still do this? Can they still bring people to the theaters in droves? Still create moments that stop time, that trend worldwide, that spark conversation long after the credits roll? Because right now, they're not just battling expectations, they're battling a version of themselves. The Marvel that once could do no wrong, the one that gave us Endgame and changed cinema forever. And here's the truth, you can't fake that magic. You can't just plug in familiar faces and expect people to feel something. It has to be earned, it has to matter, and Doomsday has to prove that there's still soul behind the spectacle. The cameos? Sure, they'll get headlines. The action? Of course, it'll be massive. But that's not the heart of it. What fans want, what they've always wanted, is a reason to care again. A story that says something. A hero worth following. A moment that gives them chills. And if Doomsday delivers that, then maybe, just maybe, Marvel's second golden era is closer than we think. But if it doesn't, if it misses, even just by a little, it won't just be a disappointment, it'll be a reckoning. Because fans don't want more content, they want meaning. And right now, Marvel's got one shot left to prove it still knows how to deliver. All eyes are on Doomsday. No more delays, no more distractions. This is where it all leads. One film, one franchise, one final chance. Let's see if they rise or fall.